groovy.
Welcome to Horror After Midnight. I am your host, Casey, joined tonight by Saw Guy and Slinky Jallow. How's it going tonight, guys?
Going great, man.
Going amazing. We're getting ready to get into spooky season.
Spooky season, that's right.
Yeah, spookies.
Yeah, that's Sematary.
Yeah. So if you want to get onto this, you better bury your own.
That's right, goddammit.
This one's a classic, guys. I'm so glad that we're doing this one as a review because I remember this one, and this one was creepy as fuck for a Stephen King flick.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
It came out in 89, and so
Yeah.
I remember watching this when I was young Slinky. It's a creepy movie, man. Like, it's got a lot of atmosphere, the ghost with the jump scares and shit. It's good stuff. I like it.
Yeah, and that one dude, that's from the Monsters. I can't remember his name, but a great actor.
Oh, Fred Gwynn?
Fred Gwynn, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you go,
man.
yeah. Creepy main shit. And like,
sometimes dead is better.
yeah, sometimes dead.
his country accent, sometimes dead is better.
Herman Munster. So like when I see him, he's got the makeup and shit on. Like, so it's like Frankenstein sitting there telling him about this fucking dog. You know some bad stuff's gonna happen when those trucks they go whip out.
Yeah, and they got no fence or anything to keep kids out of the road.
Yeah. Well, you know what's crazy about this movie? I bet you guys didn't know this. You know, the film rights were sold to George Romero.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he
Wow.
sold the rights to George Romero in '84 for 10 G's, but he was so busy trying to do another movie. What the fuck was he doing at that time? I think he was doing another. They said it was doing Monkey Shines, the one with the creepy monkey with the fucking symbols and shit.
Yeah.
But once he couldn't do it, then he sold it to another company, which ended up being Paramount, and then they took it over. But what I like about this is that the director is actually a lady by the name of Mary Lambert. And she did, a lot of people were giving this film shit because the only thing she had done before this movie was directing like Madonna videos, like the music videos back in the day, kids.
Yeah, for real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
she did American Psycho.
Yeah, I think she did. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, she did American Psycho. Walkers. Yeah, so she's got street cred, man.
Oh,
yeah.
Dude. And some of the things that they did in this film, just like as a kid when I saw this was creepy as shit. Down to the music with the the sound effects and shit. They had the annoying kid. They had to have the annoying girl in there. Daddy, we gotta think about church.
Tire swing. It's like
Yeah. And
bitch.
the crazy thing is the people that played the parents, they should get the Parents of the Year award for letting their kid like walk down the fucking road, almost getting ran over in the beginning of the movie.
It's I don't understand. Fucking boy. You just know it's coming, man. Like he son of a bitch. Even as a kid when I was watching it, I'm like, that little kid's dead. Like
Yeah, I mean, back in those days, just like the stupid ones kind of just got weaned out.
Well, the older I was hoping, like sidecar pop out and get her or something. I'm just, it's I don't know. Out of the Stephen King movies that I've seen, it's creepy as fuck. That one for just and for me, the misspelling of the word cemetery with the S. It's like, oh shit. This is gonna nut. But the movie's creepy as shit. I keep saying that, but it is, man. Like it's got atmosphere for days. The music is really creepy. Keep saying the word creepy over and over.
I love how they tied into the Native American culture where they're like, the Native Americans stopped using it because they know the ground went sour.
Yeah, tried the soil. Sour.
So even they knew better.
Yeah, and this was at a time when his books came out and they were trying to make these books into movies. But it was a weird time because they didn't follow everything in the book. Now, I'm a fan of Stephen King. I read his book. The only thing that I thought was missing that would have made this even better was Wendigo, when they were talking about like how he's the spirit that makes them come up and they're the ones that turn into zombies and shit.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool in the book how they did that. And this one was different in the movie because it was just like, no, they don't want to have Wendigo. They want to play off that mysterious less is more approach, which that played so fucking perfectly with this story. And especially the fact with the music, the tone, the coloring, the landscaping. Um, and then they really made you feel for the parents when he was finally like running after his son. They're playing,
Hey man, like here's the kite. Go get
yeah,
it.
go
Oh,
get it.
fucking
And then
shoot. And then you're like, oh damn. Like
yeah, and then it was super dramatic where he's running, and then all of a sudden, like he falls. So I mean, you gotta have that horror movie trope. And then you see the kid get hit. But the crazy thing about that scene, he was fucking listening to the Ramones because that's Stephen King's favorite, which later on plays into how they were on the soundtrack. But he hits the kid and they don't show it, which I
yeah.
thought was kind of like, oh my god, that kind of mind fucked you a little bit more. But to
Yeah.
see the shoe flying around in the air and he's screaming, no!
Oh shit.
Yeah, just the wail of it. It wasn't just like a no, it was a no.
You're like that parent just lost their kid. You can tell, like, oh, it's like listening to the blues when you watch that scene. You're like, I can feel
Oh,
that, and like,
Yeah.
you know,
yeah.
um, oh, dude, yeah. When that kid gets hit and you see the shoe, you're like, oh, um,
Yeah. What? Like exploded or like
edited to where you said you're
point out?
imagining,
Oh.
like, he looks like a pizza on that grill, like,
That's why I was thinking, like, what the hell? They did a closed casket, obviously, but what was left to put in the casket in the first place? Not to sound like a dick, but it's like, I mean, you're gonna put the shoe? I mean,
and then they get
um,
in the fucking casket. Guys,
yeah.
like,
Well,
yeah,
see, that's the thing that really tripped me out on that film is because they show how he went and he heard the story from Fred Gwynn's character. He was pretty much telling him the whole story of like, I know what you're doing. Don't think about it. Don't think about it. And then he tells the whole story what happened and how somebody had their son killed. They brought him back. He came back. They had to burn the house down to take him to hell. And that's when they were talking about sometimes dead is better. But it's the one thing that really tricked me out was this truck would have disintegrated this kid, but he goes and buries him as one solid piece, and the
and
kid
he's,
comes out as one solid piece.
dude, that, yeah.
That's yeah.
And then the mom, half her skeleton's hanging out of her face. So it's like, yeah, you guys, no,
Mm,
kind of didn't. I mean, it's whatever. But
yeah, and there was a
I'm
lot going.
pick that kid up with a bucket and a mop, like after truck, dude. Like,
Oh my god, yeah. And there was so much going on into the story that it just kind of like was really fucking crazy because instead of doing his kid he did the cat because the other kid, the annoying daughter, Daddy, you got to worry about church, make sure not to leave church out there. And what does he do? He leaves church out there and gets ran over.
uh-huh. He calls him. He's like, I got a cat at the end of my property. I think it's
Yeah.
yours.
Oh, that's right, he did do that. Oh
Calls
my
him up,
god.
"What's up, man.
Oh, yeah. And then they have to hike like a mile away. And you know what's funny? Where they live at, they have the fucking trail starting in their backyard.
hmm,
Yeah.
What
yeah,
the fuck? I mean,
it's glaringly noticeable too. Like
yeah, Pet Cemetery with an S. And it's like, who the fuck would move in a house right there and not build up a gate or something? You know what I'm saying?
he didn't see that when he was checking the house. It's whatever, man. Just shit to nitpick. But it's
Yeah.
funny. They go for a hike when Herman Munster's taking them to the pet cemetery. But when they show the final, they show it, the markers on the ground that the Native Americans put out and stuff. That's fucking awesome looking, man. Like it looks like
Yeah.
Nazca lines. Uh, yeah, if the Indians left that bitch alone and you buried your cat there, and now your cat's all fucked up. Why?
Yeah.
Did you even like, dude? Uh,
And
yeah,
you
it's
know what's
still like I'd have kept that shit hush hush.
oh yeah.
Sucks for the cat, huh? Yeah, let me go get a shovel.
Well, you know what's funny? That's actually real Native American land right there where they filmed with all those rocks.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, and because when I did this for an episode on Saw Guy podcast, I did my research and I was like, no fucking way. And if you Google the pet cemetery, like the actual pet cemetery, you can still see it like on Google Earth. They still have all the rocks and shit set up out there.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hey, the way through a man's heart is stone y'all. You don't want to go out there to that shit. But I mean, I like this film because it was very different from the book. There was a lot of themes that they didn't get into, which kind of sucked. So they didn't get into Wendigo. Um, they didn't get into his like assistant or the lady that helped out, like the babysitter, because she kept saying like, "Oh, I got a pain in my stomach," and then he's like, "Well, I could take a look at it because he's a doctor." She's like,
Yeah,
"No, it'll pass, it'll pass," but then she kills herself, and it's like, "What the fuck? What? You see her for 2 seconds and she hangs herself for what?"
yeah. I was wondering why she killed herself. I didn't really understand that, but
Yeah.
She's like, she just killed somebody hung himself. I'm like, oh shit. Uh-oh.
Well, I mean, that would have been cool if they would have explained it or had something where she was just going psychotic because she saw him like trying to bury the cat or the kid or whatever. Like that'd be cool if they showed that. And she's like, "Oh hell no, I'm not gonna deal with this shit." You know? I mean,
yeah,
it makes sense to the story, but I thought the craziest part was when the cat was just like trying to fuck with him because he's in the bathtub and it throws a fucking possum and he's like butt naked. He's like, "Ow!" and the shit was still alive. I was like, dude, if my cat ever threw that shit at me when I'm in the bathtub butt naked, I
Hey,
swear
man.
to God, if that thing doesn't bite my pecker off, man, I'm killing that damn cat.
Oh, what is this? Like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, that
Might
scene alone got me.
I think there might have been a bunch of stuff maybe on the cutting room floor that possibly, maybe connected some stuff together. But the studios, man, they fucking interfere a lot of the time. And
Yeah.
then you end up watching the movie, you're like, what the fuck? What the hell happened? Studio,
Yeah.
So it's I dig the film. See, I didn't read the
Yeah.
book, and so I'm
Oh, what? You didn't read the book?
look.
never.
I've read a bunch of Stephen King books, and I never had Pet Cemetery.
You're like, I've read all of them except Pet Cemetery.
For real, I read Cujo, like fucking yeah, yeah. But
Damn.
yeah,
Well, I mean, Pet Cemetery was pretty good as a book. Like, it's scarier as a book because it lets the imagination run wild. The movie was a great interpretation, other than the fact of it did include Wendigo and a bunch of other shit. But the acting on this that made it really stand out was just everybody, even the dude that played Zelda. And they didn't get into like the wife, why the wife was such a bitch, because she was always just like, ugh, ugh, just they never. It looked like they never had a perfect marriage, even before the kid was killed. So
Well, they
they
did.
kind of
She killed her like older sister thing with like poison or something when she was a kid.
yeah, because they brought that up, but not in detail like in the book, because the book talked about how like I guess her sister had like sexually like assaulted her or some kind of weird shit.
Oh,
Um, yeah, it was something like that, and obviously they can't show that in that type of movie, but the fact that they kind of told the story about Zelda and they didn't like bring it up about how they favored Zelda over her, like it was very brief, but when they showed the scenes of Zelda and you honestly thought it was a chick, then you find out it's a dude, like, whoa! And then, that was creepy when she gets up all hunchback. You will never, ever, ever see me. Ever,
yeah,
ever.
terrifying. It's terrifying.
Oh, dude. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Nope.
Yeah, no,
And it was funny because Stephen King got the name Zelda because, he's a Nintendo nerd like all of us. He likes Zelda. So I thought that was pretty cool.
yeah.
But
there's no when the little freaky ass kid
oh God.
after Herman Munster, right? He cuts he cuts his Achilles heel, man, and
Oof.
that part
Oh yeah.
always like,
I did.
it's one of those uh yeah.
Ugh. When he
Ooh,
got his lip and did the fucking Joker smile across his cheeks, and he's like, "Ooh,"
man. And then he calls his dad. He's like, I want to play with you. Oh, son of a bitch. Like,
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, dude, he was a creepy ass kid because he was in what was it? Kindergarten Cop. Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina.
not a Puma. That's right. Kindergarten.
Yeah,
Wow.
and he survived Pet Cemetery to be on Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
Oh, that's right. That's right. And
He was that other kid out there that I think he was on Full House too.
son of a bitch.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was everywhere in the 90s, dude, because that was like 89 when he first started. And, I thought the creepiest thing was that the kid was like his own self awareness. And then when he's like, he sees the mom, come here, mommy, I miss you, mommy. And they did the like scene away, and then you hear the mom scream, ah! Like that was, I like that scene because it lets you think, like, oh shit, what happened?
Mm.
Um, and
Yeah.
you find out later at the end, but I thought that was pretty cool. It's just it made me think of like, man, doctors are so smart, yet they're so stupid sometimes.
Right. Right. Like, and that jogger fellow is
Oh,
creepy.
Pascal, yeah.
Like, there's a couple scenes where he just he does the jump scare thing, and it's like, I can't anymore. Like,
I was more scared of those fucking shorts he was wearing, dude. That was the product of the early 90s, late 80s, those short shorts.
it's like
Yeah.
you have a gash in your head, and I can see your nuts. Like, it's just, you can see your ghost balls. Like, it's
Yeah.
awful. Um,
It oh man, dude. But it's
it's a freaky movie, man. You know.
yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a
For
great.
for what it was, I really appreciate the fact that it was like a late 80s, early 90s. I guess you could say it was towards the tail end of the golden years of horror films because it started to kind of get a little weird after in the 90s with um, different horror movies that they tried to do, whether it was off of Steven Spielberg or not Steven Spielberg, Stephen King. But I mean, that's where it kind of like, but the thing that I loved about this is that they continued the story with the sequel with Pet Cemetery 2, which had nothing to do with the book. So I thought that was kind of cool. And they kind of played off that lore with it. They didn't
Yeah.
talk much other than the fact of like they connected it because of Creed and the cat, but they didn't talk about the wife, what happened. But then they had to go and do the remake, which kind of was more true to the book. And then
Yeah.
now they have a prequel. I don't know if you
And
guys heard about this one.
yeah.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, so on Paramount Plus, they're doing a prequel to Pet Cemetery of the remake. So it
Oh,
basically tells you like how it all started with the Native Americans and all this shit and how they like were making this and then they got fucked around or something. They turned the ground sour.
sour. Ooh.
So that's supposed to come out, I think, October 6th. So if you guys are watching this and it's past October, it's probably on there right now to go check out.
Yeah. Because what was it? The remake came out not long ago. I haven't seen the remake yet. I want to.
Okay, we
You
doing
know,
that one.
We can. I'm. Gives me a reason to watch it.
honestly, I've seen the remake once, and the only thing that makes it hard for me to like tune in is John Lithgow's in it, and he was Lord Farquaad. And when I hear his voice and my eyes are closed, I'm like, I can't hear him playing like Judd. Like it's so hard because
Yeah.
Fred Gwynn had that natural like Southern accent, and it just
Yeah. Like,
yeah. You
age.
see that? Yeah. You see that over there? You can't go over there.
Yeah.
Man, hold on to your pads.
And his acting was so good, Fred Gwynn's, that they made fun of it on South Park when Butters gets killed, and he's like,
Yeah, Harvin.
he was like, I know what you're doing over there, Starch. You can't put your cat over there, Starch.
That's fucking funny.
Hmm.
Oh
Uh,
my god.
yeah, no, it's yeah, that's an odd casting choice. I think John Lithgow.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Lord Farquaad all day. You
Yeah.
know, fast as fast can be. Never catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. Like best
Yeah.
part, man, is when he talks to the gingerbread man. Uh,
That's hella funny. But I mean, if you guys had to rate this, I mean, Casey, what do you think of it? I mean, how would you rate it between all the Stephen King flicks out there?
I'd put it right up there with like to me this one, and then I'd say It are my two favorite like Stephen King films.
Oh shit. Okay.
Tim Curry, it or the newer ones?
Yeah, like I love the original It, but then the remake of Chapter One was very good. Chapter
Yeah,
Two wasn't as good, but overall, I'd say the original is probably better.
Tim,
Damn.
can't fuck with Tim
Had
Curry.
more graphics and stuff in the second one, the
Mm.
remake.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
show more and actually killing the kids and ripping their arms off, all that kind of stuff. So that was awesome. Those are like ways to really say
So kid gets
better.
arm ripped off by a sewer drain. Yeah.
I was laughing at that scene. I was like, because it was so over the top with the kid. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Great special effects and everything in that, and but it's kind of hard to say which one is better. They're just different because they could show a lot more in today's age than they could back in the '90s.
Yeah.
And that was a made-for-TV movie for the original.
That's what I was gonna say. It had to be tamed, you know. Let's see. I give the OG Pet Cemetery 8 dead cats. I give it 8 dead
That'd be
cats movie. Man.
damn near
Oh my god.
Yeah.
great.
That's hella funny. I mean, with this one, it's a tough choice for me because there's a lot of random Stephen King movies that I like Graveyard Shift, Christine, uh, fucking Carrie, Cujo. He's got a lot of good ones, man. And I mean,
Yeah,
Dolores Claiborne.
Oh, meteor shit. Like
Yeah. Oh shit, I forgot about that one. Meteor shit.
both in
Uh,
barrel. That's right.
yeah, I mean, if I have to put this on there, I'm gonna say it like this. So when I started Saw Guy podcast, at least in my top first 20 episodes, this I think was episode like 18 or 19. At least it was in my top 20 when I first started because this was one of my favorite films. Um, it's creepy as fuck. And I think, they did a good job on this because the budget for it was 11.5 million and it made 90 million overall. So, I mean, they made out like gangbusters on this one, but
yeah,
they did the sequel and a lot of people didn't like the sequel because the sequel was different from the book. The book never had a sequel, so they just kind of like Rob Zombie Halloween 2 this. they
Yeah.
they just kind of did their own story, and that was a good one too because Clancy Brown I think was just starting out, and
Yep.
he was a complete ass in this one, but he had some memorable scenes where he's like grinding the freaking the dirt bike on the kid's face. He's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm just fucking with you."
Yeah, dude. Like there's a lot of cool shit in that one, but
Mm-hmm.
he's again he's freaky as fuck in that movie. No, what you say? Some shit. He's got the drill, like
Yeah.
and then the mom, I'm melting. And she,
Oh God, yeah. That still haunts me to this day. Seeing like that weird scene where she gets fucking like electrocuted, and then she's like all that makeup and start melting. And the son, how he turned on the dad, and then him and the dad were cool at the end. Like, dude, I would fucking kill that kid. Like, what the hell?
that movie's bonkers. Like,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, no, Pet Cemeteries. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, man, it's creepy. It's got atmosphere for days. The
Mhm.
music's fucking creepy, creepy. Um,
Huh.
but when she goes back to the house at the end and they show the inside, and it's like it's just all haunted house done up. Like
Yeah.
it's that movie fucks with you, man. It really does. Because it's one of those movies where it's like, well, what would you do?
Yeah. Especially with the whole because you got to remember back in the day they actually showed horror movies where kids were getting killed getting eaten and shit like in the Blob or whatever. Now they don't show any of that, and that started like mid 90s on up. I mean teenagers, yeah, but like little kids they don't do that shit.
Like Halloween,
um
they couldn't make Halloween 3 today. There's no
oh
way.
no, fuck no.
Like
And that's the thing that's so crazy is that like I think they only did it with like actually I think it was one of the Halloween remakes. I think it was Kills or the first one where it showed that Michael Myers killed a kid, but they didn't even show it on camera. I mean, it's they
that's
imply it, you
yeah,
know?
chokes that kid. Yeah.
Yeah. And with this, I mean, it was creepy as hell how they did it. And then, you know, to also bring in the fact that Stephen King was so huge and a well-known name, not only just for his books, but for the fact of he had made, you know, money off the movies and shit, especially with The Shining. That whole
Didn't
story.
Preacher at the funeral in this one?
Yeah, yeah,
So
he
he's
was.
this
He
movie.
was. This is one of the ones that he was in, and then he was. I guess he was so big, he actually got to reach out to the Ramones, and they were the ones that did the soundtrack. I don't want to be buried in a pet
That,
cemetery.
that's pretty cool.
Right? And this
They're
movie
cool.
alone
Yeah.
and the song was like, you can't talk about Halloween unless you talk about Pet Cemetery.
Like it I just remember that movie being pretty big when it came out.
Oh,
Like
dude.
was always rented out at the video store, put it that
Yeah.
way. Like, you know, um,
Yeah.
That these kids, I mean, you know, back when they had video stores, it was hard to fucking watch this film. Like, if
yeah.
you were able to see this film on there, you had to get that shit quick.
Yeah, you had to get up and go to the video store, not like, fuck around your phone.
Oh my god.
Actually
You
take the
know,
box counter. Yeah, take it.
oh, those are some good times, man. I remember that. But you know what's so crazy about this? It was such. I would say that has to be, if there was five Stephen King films that had to be iconic. It's Christine, it's Pet Cemetery, Carrie, Cujo, and you know pick out of the many lineups that he has. But for sure this one, because Pet Cemetery turned into like a cultural icon because of the band with the Ramones, the movie itself. It inspired others, such as Tim Burton, to do Frankenweenie right after this. I don't know
Yeah.
if you guys remember that one. That was actually kind of cool because they had a lot of little winks about this, and even the soundtrack was Pet Cemetery.
Yeah. Oh, it's my daughter's cat. That's your cat now.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, I have to give this film, like, it's got to be at least in my top 10, top 20 films of all time. Um, I mean, if you're one of those people that watch a horror film like every day during Halloween, I'm sure Pet Cemetery's in that lineup.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Uh, it's one of my favorite Stephen King horror flicks.
Oh yeah. Same here.
Yeah, because again, his stuff doesn't translate to film all that well, so it's like you gotta pick your strengths, and that's a titan, man. Pet Cemetery. Oh man, I remember after this movie came out, a lot of people had that. I guess I forget the name of it. It's like chartreuse or whatever, that type of cat. Like a lot of people went out and got that cat. And
Yeah.
going to people's went to this guy's house in like sixth grade. That's creepy cat, man. What's the cat's name? Church? Really?
You're all like, bruh, for reals?
Yeah, Burry Timberman. And he had a fucking cat named Church, and I'm like, that's a cemetery cat. I'm not coming to your house ever again. Like,
Oh my god,
uh,
that's so funny.
but no, it's a decent flick, man. It's really good.
We'll leave it at that. It's classic. Go out there and see it. If you haven't seen this film,
The
I
hell
don't
you
know
want?
what you're missing out on, but you guys are missing out on a lot.
Yeah, it's Halloween standard. Absolutely.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So, do you want to do the new one? I don't.
Hell yeah, let's do the new one. I got to hear Lord Farquaad be like, "You got to bury your own."
Oh my god.
Yeah.
All
So let's go ahead and do that one next.
right. I
Cool.
want a picture of the new one. A sheet of the remake. It's that cat, all fucking fucked up looking and pissed off.
Postcard. Nice for the remake.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man.
So yeah, I guess
Yep.
we'll get that one next time.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah. I guess I
Yeah.
know what we're doing after this. Fuck it. Let's go watch the remake of Pet Cemetery.